Welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm Albert Chiu. Bloomberg reports that there is a lot of corruption in China's army, like missiles with water instead of fuel. This led Xi Jinping to change some military leaders by 2027. The army's 100th year, Xi wants it to be modern. But can he do this, and how will he fix the corruption? Joining us today are Kuo Yu-jen, National Yat-sen University Institute of China and Asia Pacific Studies Professor, and Yung-ming, Tunghai University Associate Professor in Political Science. A very warm welcome to both on the show. So the first question is, what are the combat capabilities of the People's Liberation Army, so-called PLA's Rocky Force, especially in the context of its significant role during a large-scale military exercise around Taiwan in August 2022, following its upgrade from the 2nd Artillery Corps at the end of 2015? Professor Kuo.
Chinese POS rocket force has three major functionalities. Number one is for conventional strike with conventional warhead, and number two is for nuclear strike, and number three is counter-strike capabilities. And in terms of the overall capability, especially the vehicles, it ranges from short-range ballistic missile all the way to ICBM, the intercontinental ballistic missile. So POS rocket force has, in terms of SRBM, it has these so-called Dongfeng missiles, DF missiles, ranking from 11 to 15. And the shooting range is around 500 to 600 kilometers. And in terms of intermediate ballistic missile, it has 16 and 26. Shooting ranges from 1,000 to 3,000 kilometers. And for the ICBM intercontinental ballistic missile, it has 31 and 41. So those are ranging from short range to intercontinental. And speaking of higher or nearer technology in terms of ballistic missile, it has 17 and 27, especially DF-17 with the nickname of air carrier killer. It is a gliding missile, meaning it's unlike a conventional vehicle with a trajectory, a fixed trajectory. Gliding missile will change its trajectory when re-entry to the atmosphere, so which make the overall strike capability of Chinese PLA's rocket force is very competent in reality. Yeah.
Is it accurate for me to say that because China is a land power, and therefore army or military like rocket force is placed at the heart of the whole military capability, and in case of the Taiwan Contingency, if there is any evasion plan by Xi Jinping, and what kind of role will rocket force play?
In any kind of war behavior, war activities for PLA, rocket force is so-called strategic force, unlike Air Force, Army, and Navy. Its main job is to do battlefield, what we call battlefield management. In the case of Taiwan Contingency, PLA's rocket force main job is for A2AD. It's anti-access aerial denial. Policy plan is to stop foreign intervention to Taiwan Contingency. Okay. So especially the U.S. forces from the Pacific. So with that kind of missile capability could deter the U.S. forces to enter the battles of Taiwan. And number two, it could strike out those important political, economy, and military targets inside Taiwan, and including airfields, including harbors, to disable Taiwan's counter-strike capability from air and sea. And number three, it will target at the critical infrastructures of Taiwan to sabotage the overall national functionality of Taiwan. So including power plant, including our internet, including all the utilities internet. So those are the main assignment for POS rocket force.
We'll come back in a minute, continue our discussion on the rocket force. But Professor Yan, so what is your study of this rocket force? I mean, even though Professor Kuo talked about the capability of rocket force being as a first strike at the Taiwan in terms of, in case of the Taiwan contingency, but in terms of the preparation on the parts of Taiwan, what can we do about it?
When we talk about the Taiwan contingency, yes, just like Dr. Kuo said, the rocket force, they will be used by the PLA to prevent United States from intervening Taiwan conflict. And also, rocket force will be used to destroy variable military assets around Taiwan. I think facing this kind of threats, Taiwanese government has been invest significantly in the last few years to enhance our defense capabilities. We have tried to procuring air defense system internally and externally, and we also build our submarine project, which can help us to build so-called capability of asymmetric warfare. And also, we also try to enhance our defense resilience by putting efforts to enhance our protection of all those key facilities around the island.
Professor Kuo, would you add up to the solution of kind of preparation of the defense on the parts of Taiwan?
I would say POS establish of rocket force, the main target is actually not Taiwan. Threatening Taiwan is on the way for Chinese PLA to confront U.S. forces in the Pacific, especially it's very clear PLA's main military strategy is again A2AD, anti-access and aerial denial. So if you look at how Liaoning Hao air carrier and Shandong Hao air carrier, their previous activities in the Pacific, they all voyage all the way to 400 miles away from Guam. So Chinese PLA Navy has been, quite actively to train their soldiers and their fleet to carry out this main mission of A2AD. So reverse observation, we could say that in the overall war planning of PLA, the U.S. intervention to possible Taiwan contingency is still the main scenario for China's war planning against Taiwan.
Okay, but there might be a problem with the rocket force. How do you two scholars interpret the U.S. intelligence report cited by Bloomberg, revealing that China's army had missiles filled with water instead of fuel, suggesting disciplinary issues within the PLA and leading to Xi's military purge? Maybe still, Professor, you can go first.
I would say the arrest of many high-rank government officials and military officials within rocket force, I would say it's a structural product or structural result from what we call MIC, military industrial complex. MIC is everywhere. Taiwan, we have MIC too. The U.S., all these major arms exporters, including like France, UK, South Korea, the U.S., we all have this kind of problem of military industrial complex.
Does that mean too much bureaucracy to deal with and
that will
generates
be
corruption?
A group of people with a common interest in promoting more active defense policy and to have common interest in the defense procurement establishment. I would say that. And the major difference between us and China is, in other countries, MIC, it's a government private industries relation. So the situation, corruption situation is not so not so serious in other countries, because we are talking about the common interest of government and private industry. So you have a lot of supervision mechanism within the entire military or weapon procurement proceeding. But the problem of China is their MIC is their government, I mean the military, and public corporation. So for example, this Chinese National Nuclear Corporation, their chairman just got arrested last week. And that particular company, CNNC, is in charge, again, for rocket force nuclear strike capabilities, meaning all these possible nuclear warheads has been produced by the particular company. So when you have this MIC, which is originated from almost the same group of people, so that kind of MIC problem is
it's the worst.
Yeah, it's the worst scenario.
Okay,
yes.
Professor Yan.
This intelligence story from Bloomberg actually give extra evidence regarding the internal issues of the rocket force. Actually, I think it's a developing story. If we look back to the 2022 military exercise, there was discrepancies regarding the number of missiles launched by the PRC. According to our DoD, the China launched 11 ballistic missiles, and according to Japan's data, they say 9 missiles. But according to Chinese media, they say they launched 16 missiles. So this discrepancy raised curiosities. And one possible explanation is that the rocket force failed to execute its exercise orders. Why? And then in October 2022, we all know that there was the intelligence report by the U.S. Air Force Academy, which revealed very detailed info regarding all rocket force organizations. And then we have a variety of crackdown last year within the rocket force and also those related military MICs. So I think, yes, all these taken together, we can say that there was some serious problem within the rocket force, and this made Xi Jinping had to make something to conduct a comprehensive overhaul.
Right. This is all together to see how serious the corruption problem or scandal is in the PLA. The internal corruption in the PLA evidenced by the purge of rocket force leading to the arrest of 70 people and the removal of 15 senior officials, including former Defense Minister Wei Fenghe and its successor Li Shangfu. So how does that affect Xi Jinping's authority, Professor?
First of all, if we look at after Li Shangfu was removed, and also Li Yuchao, the former commander of rocket force, Xi Jinping actually put Wang Haobin and Xu Xisen into the positions. Wang Haobin is actually from Navy, and Xu Xisen is from Air Force. Most importantly, those two people are from Political Warfare Division, meaning Xi Jinping putting all those commander, new commander, and new deputy commander in positions is not to commanding the rocket force, but to do further investigations. So that's the reason why we have been seeing, and we will be seeing more and more arrest or military purge within rocket force. And number two is Dong Jun's nomination to the new defense minister. That was a little bit surprising, yeah, because after the October 16, 2022, the 20th Party Congress, and 2023, the two Congresses, Xi Jinping only nominated two new ministers. One is the Foreign Minister Qin Gang, and the other is the Defense Minister Li Shangfu. And both got the same problem of corruption. So our original speculation is not until this March, two Congresses, Xi Jinping shouldn't nominate any new defense minister because it's too risky before the two Congresses. But he did. And I believe the main reason is resulting from November 15th summit with Biden last year. The most important conclusion from that particular summit is for China and US to resume military communication to avoid any kind of misjudgment for the two forces. Our original speculation was it should just in the initial stage resuming the regional commander level of communication. But surprisingly, in December, the two Joint Chiefs of Staff from the States and China, they had television phone call to each other. And in that kind of resuming speed, it was actually quite a surprise, which also impact the faster nomination of new Defense Minister Dong Jun. Dong Jun was originally a naval commander. My speculation will be it is really the surrounding situation to both countries, US and China, are not really good, including the situation at Europe, including Putin's active cooperation with Kim Jong-un and North Korea, and what happened to Israel and Hamas between Iran and Pakistan. All these surrounding contingencies, actually the main trigger for Xi Jinping wants to speed up resuming military communication with the states. So that's the most important background for the earlier nomination of new Defense Minister Dong Jun.
Okay, Professor Yan, so what is your observation of Xi Jinping in tackles the corruption associated with the Iraqi force? So what's the next step are we anticipated to see?
So I think this anti-corruption campaign actually will not shake Xi Jinping's authority, as your previous question, but it could impact his agenda of military modernization somewhat. Over the past decade, Xi Jinping has consolidated effectively his political power under his command and leaving almost no changes within the CCP. So while a massive personal reshuffle might dent his ruling prestige, however, it would not jeopardize his legitimacy. On the other hand, the widespread corruption in the Iraqi force signs the setback of the military reform, which was initiated in 2015. So just like Dr. Guo said, Wang Houbin and Xu Xisheng, they both had no background from Iraqi army. And this kind of appointment actually highlights Xi Jinping's intention to enhance political loyalty rather than professional expertise. And in Iraqi force, such a service which highlights strongly professional expertise, this will bring some fear to those senior technology officers, in my opinion, and that will delay the achievement of the Iraqi force modernization to some extent.
All right, okay. Actually, in the middle of significant changes, as Professor just mentioned, there's a turnover of the defense minister in the leadership of the Chinese military. Xi Jinping appointed Dong Jun, who has a naval background, as a Minister of National Defense. So what are the profound implications of these personal arrangements?
The implication bear from the new nomination of Defense Minister Dong Jun, I would say, number one, we will pretty much soon will see the resume of top rank defense minister communication between Defense Secretary Austin and the new Defense Minister of China, Dong Jun, pretty soon. That's number one. And it actually symbolizes US and China try to establish more concrete consensus, especially in the background of the surrounding contingencies getting worse and worse every day. And number two, with Dong Jun promoted from naval commander to defense minister, Xi Jinping put Hu Yung-ming into the new naval commander. And if you get to know this person, Hu Yung-ming is very experienced, especially in naval strategies. So his Hu Zhongming's first show was actually South China Sea against the Philippines. Yeah, so I will speculate there will be more low intensity but direct conflict between Chinese Coast Guard, Chinese Navy versus the Filipino Coast Guard and Filipino Navy as well. And Hu Zhongming's second show, I would believe, it's surrounding Taiwan. Yeah, with the DPP's victory in our Taiwan's presidential election, I believe after the two congresses, March 5th and 6th, Hu Zhongming will put on his show in threatening Taiwan by its naval fleet. And number three is of course East China Sea versus Japan. Yeah. And number four is right now Shandong-Hao already decked at Sanya base for more than a month. And the second and third fleet been decking at China's East District and South District also more than a month. So I would speculate it is just a matter of time and the commanding from the Central Military Committee. Those three fleets could take order and act immediately. So I would say any time, approaching to the May 20th of Taiwan's presidential inauguration ceremony, China might dispatch Shandong-Hao again, going through the Passage Channel and then doing some kind of exercise and voyaging all the way again to the near waters of Guam.
Okay, so that is a very concrete prediction. Actually, a follow-up for Professor Yen is that, do you think the frequent PLA fighter jets crossing over the Taiwan Strait, especially the median line, suggest Xi Jinping is diverting attention from PLA corruption and the internal conflicts?
Chinese military actions surrounding Taiwan, which of course will bring coercion effects toward Taiwan. However, this kind of behavior was mainly driven by its internal politics consideration. And it's not about the diversionary theory, which was proposed by some IR scholars, but I think for China, if there's some internal instability within its communist regime, it will put more efforts to control its domestic situation rather than to show up its military muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, the last question for both of you, I request the brief response, is that in 2027, it is going to be the 100th birthday of China's military history. So do you think that by that time, the PLA will become a totally modern military at that time?
In summary, Xi Jinping's 2015 military reform has bear some fruits already. If you look at Chinese Navy today, in the past 15 years, Chinese Navy produced more than 115 vessels. And in the past 15 years, Chinese Air Force produced more than 1,000 aircrafts. It's very modern. It is not like old-fashioned or old-style kind of military vessel destroyer or fighter jet or bombers. Those are very up-to-date kind of aircrafts and also vessels. But the problem of that is the overall, this huge military system, the size of it is non-sustainable, meaning Xi Jinping doesn't have that kind of military financing concept to establish the right size of PLA.
Professor Yen.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Kuo's analysis about China's improvement in its physical equipment, both in its Navy and its Air Force, and also in its rocket force. But I think it's one thing to build up all those military assets. It's another thing to improve your military personnel and to change the mindset of those soldiers and senior officers. So software, I think, is very important. Of course, the PLA has been actively learning from the United States in terms of those operational organizations and some other combat skills. However, the legacy, the Russian-style legacy, still remains, and it's not easy for the PLA to completely transition from the Russian-style legacy to the U.S. high-tech and information-based operational capability. So it may take longer than expected. And I think the final concern is the determination of the PLA personnel. I mean, yes, it's one thing to defend your motherland with all those kind of nationalist sentiments, but it's another thing for the military personnel to realize Xi Jinping's ambition to rejuvenate China in the global platform. It's a totally different thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if all military personnel of PLA, they would like to risk their lives to realize Xi Jinping's inspiration.
Okay, thank you, Professor Yan and Professor Kuo, for the great insights. Okay. It would be unrealistic to believe that Xi Jinping has absolutely no intention of invading Taiwan in either 2027 or 2035. However, many military assessments suggest that the PLA still lacks the capability for such an invasion. The critical question is whether the Taiwanese are prepared to defend their own territory. Did you enjoy this episode? Feel free to leave us a message and subscribe to Taiwan Talks. See you soon.